Hey, I'm Jason Walcott, and this is Walcott Fine Art. In my last video on color mixing, I showed you how to choose a very limited palette of just 3 mixing primaries. Today, I'd like to expand on that idea and show you what artists call a split primary palette. So, let's go have some more fun with color. If you remember, in my last video about color, I showed you this diagram dividing the color wheel into a warm side and a cool side. However, there can also be variations of warm and cool within color families. For example, while all reds are warm in general, there can be cool reds and warm reds, even though the coolest red would still be warmer than, say, any blue. Likewise, you can also have warm and cool versions of cool colors as well. This is where we get the idea of what artists call the split primary palette. Instead of just 3 primary colors, we split each one into a warm and cool version of itself. So we have 6 colors: a warm red, a cool red, a warm yellow, a cool yellow, a warm blue, and a cool blue. This gives us a greater range of colors that we can mix. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so here I have some paints laid out on my palette in the same configuration as I showed you in the diagram. So the colors I have out are quinacridone rose, which is my cool red, cadmium red light, which is my warm red, cadmium yellow deep, which is my warm yellow, cadmium lemon, which is my cool yellow, phthalo blue, which is my warm blue, and ultramarine, which is my cool blue. Now, the way we determine whether colors are warm or cool depends on which way they lean. So, the warm side, if you imagine this as a continuous color wheel all the way around in a complete circle, this side of the wheel is warm, this side of the wheel is cool. I'll write it down so it's clear. Okay, so, take for example cadmium yellow deep. Well, cadmium yellow deep leans, it's got a little bit of orange in it, because orange would be over here, which means it leans toward the warm side of the wheel. So it's warm. Cadmium lemon it's got a little bit of green in it. It's kind of a greenish yellow, so that means it leans in this direction toward green, which makes it a cool yellow, and so on. Now, the reason that that's important is because the simplest thing to remember, again, thinking of this as a complete color wheel, you can imagine that, is that the farther apart any 2 colors are from each other on that wheel, the more gray the mixture is going to be. So, and the closer the 2 colors are together on the wheel, the brighter and more saturated the color mixture will be. So, let's take green as an example. Now let me just pause here for a moment to say about the 2 blues I'm using. There's some confusion and a little bit of debate in the artistic world about whether phthalo blue is warm and ultramarine is cool, or the opposite, phthalo blue is cool, ultramarine is warm. Sometimes you'll see people say ultramarine is a warm blue and phthalo blue is a cool blue. For me personally, I find that phthalo blue is warm. And the reason that is because phthalo blue is a greenish blue, and so it leans toward the warmer side of the wheel, whereas ultramarine is a violety blue, and it leans in this direction toward violet. And an example, I mixed each of these with white over here. You can see as an example. This one, the bottom one is phthalo blue, and the top one is ultramarine. And you can see the ultramarine is more violety, and the phthalo blue is more green. And to me, the phthalo blue just looks warmer. It looks like the color of tropical oceans and And to me, this looks cool and icy. So I consider ultramarine to be a cool blue and phthalo blue to be a warm blue. But I just wanted to warn you, if you're new to color mixing, you might see some people claim the opposite. So back to our example with mixing a green. If you want to mix a really bright, clear, saturated green, then you're going to take cadmium lemon and phthalo blue, because both of these colors already lean toward green. They each have a little bit of green in them. So we take some of the cadmium lemon and just a tiny little touch. The phthalo blue is a very strong color, so you only need a little bit. And look at that really bright green that you get. It's probably not showing up on camera as bright as it is in person, but that's a really bright, very saturated green color. Likewise, if you took ultramarine and cadmium yellow deep, which are much farther apart on the color wheel, they're going to gray each other down. So you're going to get more of a grayish, kind of olivey green from those two colors. See, that's a big difference, isn't it? And that serves as a good example of how using a split primary system and having a warm and cool version of each color really opens up the door for a lot more variation in your color mixing. This would be a green that would be much more likely to be used in landscapes. It's more natural and sort of earthy looking. Whereas the bright green made from these two colors could be used for other applications. Just as another quick example, let's do an orange. So if you wanted to mix a nice orange, you'd want to, of course, choose cadmium yellow deep and cadmium red light, because they already both lean toward orange. So take a little bit of that and a little bit of the cadmium red light. You can see that makes a nice... Let's get a little bit more yellow in there. Used up all my yellow. Oh, that's nice. You can see you get a really nice, bright, almost Halloween orange from those two mixes. And again, if you wanted to mix a dull, sort of earthy orange, you could take the cadmium lemon, which is a little bit of a greenish yellow, and a little bit of the quinacridone rose, which is kind of a violety red, and you mix those together. You see, you're going to get an orange, but it's a little, I don't know, I hope it's not hard to see on camera. It's still kind of bright, but it's got a little bit of an earthy grayness to it. More like a burnt orange, maybe like the kind of orange you'd see in the fall on tree leaves and stuff like that. And in quinacridone rose, this is a beautiful color because it's a good cool red to use. And I'll show you really quick. If you mix it with a little white, you can really see that violety undertone that it has. As opposed to the cadmium red light, which is very orangey and red. So these quick examples should give you a good idea of how using a split primary system can really open up the range of colors that you can mix. So that I hope this short lesson was helpful to you and it gave you some more confidence in mixing colors. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you won't miss the next video. And why not spread the joy? Be sure to share my videos on your favorite social media. Don't forget to head on over to my website, walcottfineart.com, where you can see my art, read my blog, or when you join my newsletter list, you can win free art. Every month, I'll choose a lucky winner for my email list, and that person will receive a mini original oil painting. There's a chance to win every month, so be sure to sign up today so you don't miss out. Plus, you'll get my fun newsletter. See you next time!